just returned home from my second session of the Mind Strength for Girls retreat, and I've actually had a lot of women reach out to me and ask me how it went. Even the mamas, like, they want to know, and my friends have been wanting to know. And yesterday, well, the night I got home, I went on a mountain bike ride with my husband to just kind of move my body. And then the next morning I went on an 8-mile hike with some friends. For me personally, I like to move through my emotions and process things through movement. So that's probably why I am an active person. It's kind of like a moving meditation for me in a way. And as I was talking yesterday on my 8-mile hike, because we had plenty of time to talk, I was like, man, I wish I was recording this right now. So this morning I have a minute. I'm alone in my car. Let's call this a Tesla talk, shall we? Because this past week, girls have used my car to talk. And so I want to share little glimpses of what's happened, not only with the second one, but my first one as well, because I don't want to discredit any of that experience as well. But I'm a type of, like, I'm a verbal processor too, and it's hard for me to write things out a lot, and so being able to, like, do this through video form is much better for me. And there's just power for me in that. So this might be a little long, but at the same time, I promise you, if you stick it out to the end, you'll gain some amazing nuggets from what I experienced. And I was talking to one of the mentors that was there, and I said, how do I sum up what this experience has been? Like, there's not like a word, there's not like even a page, there's like so much involved in what I've experienced in the last 2 retreats that I just want to talk about it. My theme for my retreat was to stand up, stand out, stand strong. And part of that standing is actually speaking. And so, you know, these girls, out of the 38 total girls that came, I personally only knew 12 of the 38 girls, which is pretty amazing that these parents, they probably follow me or heard from a friend of a friend that said your daughter should do this or whatever, and they trusted me with their daughter. And so thank you to those of you who are one of those others that didn't know me. And so we start off, I always start with setting an expectation. I don't like to call them like rules of engagement necessarily, just more like, but also invitations as well. Like, because I don't want, I guess expectations is kind of harsh. Because I was like, with these girls, like, right from the get-go, my goal is to create a safe place for them, and that's how it is the entire week. And for them, you know, I open up and share my pain and where I've been. I also share from my heart how much having this type of experience is really beneficial in their life, because I wish I would have had this experience at their age. That's why I created the Mind Strength for Girls retreat, because some car's gonna run me over. My goodness, pay attention, people. And so that's why I created it, because I wanted to make something that I wish I would have had. And man, now seeing the 2 sessions, there's a reason why. And these girls were supposed to come during the weeks that they were, and I just feel like, you know, I believe in a God, and I believe that these girls were meant to be in the weeks that they were to be in, to meet the people that they needed to meet. And anyways, anyways, just really powerful. But anyway, so I set that expectation at the beginning to say, this is a safe place. I want that to be that for you. I know a lot of you don't even know me, so building that trust is very important to me. And so we just got started, and I shared, there's going to be moments where you're going to feel like you're going to throw up because there's something stirring within you that you want to say out loud, and then your heart starts to race and beat like crazy, and then maybe your palms start to sweat, and like you're like feeling like jittery and nervous. Like that's where your pain's sitting right there, and that pain needs to come up and out. I don't know how many times I said pain or hurt during the week. These teen girls are in pain. Quite frankly, all of us are. Women, men, we're all in pain. But we don't seem to have a place where we can express that pain, besides maybe with a therapist. And maybe with a small group of friends here and there that you feel that you're safe with, right? But coming together with strangers that don't know each other's stories, and that's kind of how I also preface this beginning of this week, is I'm like, look around you. You don't even know most of these girls, right? They don't know your story. They don't know where you've been. They don't even have prejudgments around who you are. Sure, we do judge a book by its cover, and that's kind of a first activity that I started with. Is I talked about, you probably looked up a girl up and down as they walked in the door, and they don't dress the same as you, and they don't act the same as you, and maybe this other girl's too much, and this other girl like is super quiet and reserved, and we're judging already. And we did an activity where I had them pick something that they are struggling with right now, or maybe they know something that's more like a knowledgeable trait or something that they've really studied and really applied in their life. And I had them write it on a label, and I placed that label on the back of their back. And there's this really cool, my friend shared with me in Denmark, it's actually called the People Library. And so instead of going to a library and picking out a book about anxiety, for example, instead of picking out a book, you're going to go find somebody in that library with a label on them that says anxiety, and you're going to go talk to them face to face, and they're your people library, right? Because of their experiences and because of their pain and because of what they've learned about that thing. And so anyway, we kind of modeled that a little bit, and we kind of moved each other around, like each of the groups, they were just paired. And it was so cool, just kind of, that was a huge Kickstarter to just like show these girls like we're all struggling, and you're actually more alike than you are different. And so that was a neat experience. But then we go back so we do that at this little park by my place, and then we go back home, and then I introduced the girls to the anonymous question and answer box. That was a hit. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's like these girls have so many questions, but they're scared to ask them. And of course, anonymous is safe for them. And so all kinds of questions in that box, and so I kind of presented that, and I said, okay, tonight, like after the activities, we're gonna do this every single night. So that's kind of like another expectation, like please put a question in the question box that you are longing to know the answer. And I don't have all the answers, and none of the other mentors have all the answers, and so we will be upfront and frank with you and say, I don't know that, but I'm gonna do my best to find an answer to that question. And it's been also really powerful to have these girls help answer the questions as well along with me, because they've also struggled maybe with whatever that question is about. So that was really cool to see too, is like these girls, not only me like providing answers and the mentors, but these other girls also helped to provide those as well. And so it was just really cool. And so that first night though, the first session of the retreat, the first night went great, but the second retreat, there was already some feelings were already starting to get hurt within the first few hours we were together. And of course I assigned bedrooms, and so we had to kind of like diffuse a little drama, I guess. I don't like to call it is drama. Okay, it's drama. Okay, and I was like, I need to nip this in the butt right now, tonight. And so I had a conversation with a few, and one of the girls, I kind of already talked about this in a previous video, but she was born with, I can't even think of the name, but there's a name for it, but it causes her to just not grow. And so she has to take growth hormones every single night. Growth hormone shots every single night. And she gets picked on because she's short and she has to wear her 8-year-old sister's size clothes. Not her sister's clothes, but she has to wear 8-year-old, like that's the size of clothes that she wears, and she's 14, okay? And so on the way home from the park, they're like, some of these girls are shocked that she's 14, so she's getting that message. And so then she retreats, and then she comes to me and she's crying and saying she wants to go home. This is the girl that's been texting me the last 2 months saying, like, I'm so excited for this, like, I can't wait. And so I pull her aside and I just sit with her, and she expresses her pain. And I knew some of it because I actually know this girl. She came to one of my classes in Lehigh, my weekly Mind Change for Girls classes, and she expressed her pain, and even more pain came up that I didn't know about. And I said, how are these girls supposed to know this if you don't say anything? Here you are struggling, suffering in silence. You don't know. You're basically trying to run away from this experience that you've been like so excited for. And here you are within a couple hours wanting to turn around and go back home. And I said, yeah, you have two options. Yeah, you can go home. You can definitely go home and you can go back to that story that you play in your head that nobody's going to like you, that you're not going to belong. And that will hurt, and it will still continue to hurt. Or you can actually share your story, and you can be honest with these girls that you just met about all the surgeries that you've had, all the bullying that you've had, all of the like moments where you've cried to your parents. You talk about how your dad has to do this job that he doesn't like so he can pay for your medication. Like, tell them everything. Like, bring it all up and out. And she was just like, oh my gosh, wait, what? Like, you want me to do that? I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm like, yes, you can. Yeah, you can. I'll be right there next to you. And if I have to, so that you can just speak it out. Anyway, and so I was like, will you commit to me tonight that you will share this? Because I don't want you to go home. And I want you to face this. And I want you to face it head on and gain courage through this experience. So, anyway, there was a time where it presented itself. We were in the Q&A, and I turned to her and I kind of gave her the look, like, you ready? It's go time. And she was like, yeah. And this girl, man, oh my gosh. Whew! Like, I'm getting chills thinking about it. She spoke with so much power and clarity, and spoke to these girls and spoke into their hearts where it hit them. And a couple of them were like, I'm sure that maybe they were the ones that said something, but they were like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, we didn't know. Right? We didn't know. Yeah, we didn't know. And so she was able to get that all up and out. And one of the mentors that was there was like, she turned to her and she's like, you are a giant right now. And she's like, I don't mean that in terms of like how short you are, whatever. Like, that's not what I'm implying, but you just spoke with so much power that you look like a giant to me. And I was like, yes, she did. And here she is. Anyway, that just snowballed. You guys, this is the first few hours of this retreat. And it snowballed into, you know, one girl sharing and another, right? And then we get into the questions, and oh man. We had a moment with one of the questions where one of the girls, because she was seeing all these other girls kind of sharing, and this one girl just says, I've never told this to anybody, but, well, let me just preface this. Like, usually I'd be a blubbering mess right now, but I cannot tell you, I have cried I've never cried so much in my life as I did last week. So I feel like I've processed this stuff, so it's not as shocking to me to say. So just know that I do feel for each of these experiences that I'm sharing, but I might not be as emotional as I've been in the past. Because I've done enough, I'll just say. So anyway, this girl stops and she says, I want to share something I've never shared with anybody. So of course everybody's like, okay, here we go. And she said, both of my parents committed suicide a year ago. You could not hear anything. Not even a pin drop. Like, we all just kind of gasped, like, and how else do you say it to people? You know what I mean? And she's never said it out loud to anybody in that year. And just building up so much pain for all that time, because she wants to fit in. She wants to belong. She doesn't want anybody to feel sorry for her, as well as that previous girl. That was one of her biggest things, her being short, is she doesn't want people to feel sorry for her and look at her, right? And what these girls want is they want to belong, and they want to feel accepted, and want to feel loved, and feel equal to each of our experiences. Yeah, we do have hard things that happen to us. Anyway, so, oh man, it took our breath away. And she wasn't ready to express anymore. And so, and I said, girls, this is what happens. Sometimes we just got to get up and out of our lips. And sometimes our lips are quivering and they're shaking and they're just like right there and we're biting our lip. And like, I can tell from body language, like when there's something somebody wants to say, they get fidgety and then they're just like, oh, I got to get it out. And she did. And I said, obviously I'm not saying names, so I want to keep everybody's in confidentiality, but I said, what you just did right there by just speaking this sentence, you don't have to go into details right now. You just got to get it up and out sometimes. So that's what she did. And anyway, just seeing these girls rally around each other that first night, I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be a week. And anyways, so I kind of want to take you back to the first retreat, because we definitely had glimpses of this throughout our first week. It just didn't happen as fast, right? And it was just really cool to just see on both sessions how these girls just rallied around each other and held each other and supported each other when they're complete strangers, and just feel, because they're being taught how to have empathy towards one another. They're being taught to express themselves in ways that they might have never done before. And a lot of these girls don't feel safe with their mom or their dad, to be quite honest. And so it's just really cool to know that that this experience is providing them an opportunity to show up for themselves and to speak out. And so that's what's been really cool throughout this whole time. And I can't wait for even more. And you guys, there's just, I also want to share that throughout the week, as more things came up and more questions were being asked, that we ended up finding out that 9 of the 16 girls that were there either were suicidal, had a best friend, somebody very, very close to them who is currently suicidal, or they know somebody who has died from suicide. So that's more than half of the girls, and who knows, maybe there was more and some people didn't really share. But people just want connection. People want to feel belong. They want to feel that they can express their pain in a way that's healthy and safe. And a lot of these people don't know where to turn to. And you guys' topics, I'm just going to rattle off some of them, because, and I'm not going to go into details about them, because it was special and unique to our experiences. But we talked about pornography, we talked about rape, we talked about these girls, they don't know, like, that's where these questions came from. They don't know what this stuff means. And of course, I'm sure moms are listening to this and like, like what? But at the same time, I would much rather, if it were me, from my own parenting, I would much rather have my daughter learn about those hard, horrible topics in a comfortable, safe environment rather than out there in the world in social media or with other friends. But to also recognize that there are girls who have people in their lives or themselves that struggle. We talked about sexual abuse. We talked about just like our sexuality. Like we talked about just because it is Pride Month, a lot of girls were like, I want to be educated on what it all means. Like, what do all these letters mean, you know? And just, there's power in education, and we can't shelter our children from this stuff. It's out there, it's rampant, and people need to know, especially these teen girls, to protect themselves and to be educated. And I made sure that obviously it didn't get like political, of course. Like, I'm like, just keep it educational here. Like, you need to know what these things mean. But it was just really cool. And I also told the girls, I said, you know, there's going to be moments where throughout this week you might feel uncomfortable. And you might feel sick to your stomach because of maybe something that somebody's sharing or whatever. And I want you to know that you're a safe place here. And if you have to stand up and walk out of the room because it's too much for you right now, that's totally fine. It's totally fine. Nobody's going to judge you. And I think having that was just really good because, you know, as maybe if somebody's sharing something that's hard and somebody stands up and walks out of the room, like, how do you feel, you know? But also knowing, like, that's their experience and that's what that's how they want to protect themselves because it's just too much. That's fine, right? So anyways, as the week progressed, I mean, we had a lot of fun. I'll tell you that. Like, there was a lot of heavy moments, I will tell you. Like, and there's things that I didn't get to. But that's the beauty and nature of why I was like, I'm not going to be so strict and rigid on my schedule that we're going to do this at this time and this at this time and this at, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted it to flow organically and naturally because of expression. So these girls can just see, like, there is power when we can hold space for each other and be that person to just lean in to their heart and listen and support. And for the person speaking to just like let it come up and out. And so yeah, there was some things that we didn't get to do, but yes, we did have fun. We went to the lake and we had a lot of downtime because I could tell like when people were spent, and I was like, okay, take break. We're gonna go for like 2 hours, go to the pool, go have some quiet time, go have alone time in your thoughts, go journal, like find out what it is that you need right now. Anyways, so that to say, heavy topics, and I'm just grateful for the mentors that also showed up for me because I would not have done this on my own. There's no way. Like, just having another adult and their perspective was so crucial to this whole experience for both sessions, and to have them share from their heart where their pain's been, just so that we could be a relatable adult. And my whole goal with all this, not only with the retreats, but the Mind Strength for Girls program, is that we are creating a safe place for these girls to find a caring adult in their life. And if it's not a parent right now, that's okay. I hope that one day it will be a parent. And a lot of these girls were scared to go home. They didn't want to go home for both sessions, actually. Like, they were just, obviously, they were having fun. Of course. And they just loved the realness of just like what they were experiencing, and they just wanted to bottle it all up, right? But they were also scared to go home because they have to go back to their reality. They have to go back to feeling quiet maybe again, because they don't feel like they have that person in their life. And I said, be patient with yourself. Like, it's not gonna come like tomorrow. I said, I wish I could be that for all of you, but I can't. Obviously I have my own family. I mean, I'd love to, but I mean, that's a lot for me to take on. And yes, when I got home, my husband was just like, are you okay? Like, I was just like, it was a beautiful, beautiful week and a hard week at the same time. And I came home and I really feel for a lot of people. That's why I do the work that I do. And I feel into their pain, and I feel what they experience. But I have to hand it back to them. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because you do. Like, I can't carry this for you, and I can walk with you, but I can't carry it and fix it for you. You have to learn to do that yourself. So teaching these girls these simple things of like, yeah, speaking up for yourself. If you stuff it and you suppress it, one of the analogies I gave, I know it's just me though, one of the analogies I gave was, think of it as if you're constipated. You have like compacted poop inside your stomach. Like, if you keep compacting it, it is gonna hurt coming out, right? So if we can just ease into it and just like let it come out naturally as it needs to, it'll be a little bit more smooth. Okay, so they all thought that was funny, and I was like, wow, that was a pretty good analogy. But it's true. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, that's a good one. It's safe, it's fine. Anyways, so it's just been a really cool experience, and I'm grateful that I can actually get some of this stuff out and video it, because it helps me to process what I witnessed and experienced. And a lot of these girls mean so much to me. Well, every single one of them. And you know, it's like, what do you do now? Like, when they go home, and you know, staying connected with them. They all got each other's numbers. And I said, if you don't have a safe person right now, you have 15 other girls here that are your safe person, because they've experienced what you've just experienced. They know what it's like to be vulnerable. They know what it's like to tell the truth. They know what it feels like, that when you're feeling like this yuckiness, like this shakiness coming up for you, that you got to share something. And anyways, you guys, I'm barely scratching the surface here, and we're like almost 30 minutes in here to this video. But I just wanted to end by just sharing, as they were talking about their moms specifically, like going home and not talking to their moms. I'm just like, oh my gosh, if I could just get their moms to come to, because I do a women's retreat just like this, it just in a different way. But if I could get their moms to come and open up and share. Like, sometimes we as moms, because I'm totally guilty of this, we project our pain onto our children. And then there's judgment, there's shame that happens, and it creates a horrible cycle. And then we lose connection, and then we feel like there's no way to like reach that person, that child. So I failed to mention that my oldest daughter Regan was one of the mentors this last week. And man, there was many moments where I, as a mother, imposter syndrome, oh my gosh, I totally felt it. And I'm just like, here's my daughter. She knows what I'm like at home. She knows what I say, what I do. And she's probably just thinking, oh my gosh, look at my mom teaching all these girls. Like, that's where my head goes when she's with me. But at the same time, I had lots of glimpses of moments where she really was like in tune and felt what these girls were sharing. And she got to have really cool experiences as an adult, being able to mentor these teens. And it was like really cool to watch. And I'm so grateful she was there with me, to see that side of me, because obviously she doesn't see that side very often, but I really do care deeply. But sometimes when you're in your own home, it's hard, because you just get so wrapped up in the day-to-day and like making sure that your kids are happy, because then as a mom too, it's like you don't want your kids to like if you have certain standards or whatever, like you don't want them to choose a different way, because then we have fear that comes up. We fear that they won't be happy. But a lot of these girls they just want to express themselves. They really do. They want to like say, this is me, mom, take me or leave it, whatever it is, right? Like, I want to like just do this thing. Like, don't force me to go to, I don't know, like soccer, or force me into these things that you want me to do because maybe it was a dream that you had that died. Like, that came up in both sessions. And these girls, I just basically what I'm trying to say here is I'm teaching these girls to find their voice and to help them recognize that there's power when we can find our voice and express what's on our hearts. And that's it. And I hope that I've done that. And I've already gotten messages from moms already, just pouring their hearts out to me in gratitude for having this set aside time for their daughter to come and to self-reflect. Like, I'm just guiding them. I'm facilitating all this, guys. Like, I'm not doing any work. Like, these girls are doing the work. They're doing the hard inner work. And I'm just cheering them on. And I'm just like, go girl, just do it. Figure it out. Like, we're all a hot mess. Okay? So, I'm doing this every year. I can't not. Like, and I wish I could do it during the school year, which I probably will. Maybe just on a smaller scale. But I already, like, have another one planned the end of the summer, like, just before school starts in August. I have these retreats for you, women. Yes, you. Like, you mamas out there that have teen girls, like, or don't have teen girls, that just have kids, or maybe you're just a woman, you don't have kids. This is for you too. It's for any of you to just come and just be. That's what it's called. Just be experience. Like, just be yourself. Express yourself. Share your story. Share your pain. Share how we can, like, create common ground, like, and recognize that we're not alone in our thoughts and our feelings. Like, anyways, gosh, I will let you go. I knew this was going to be long, but it's just like I just got to get it up and out. Like, more processing, more sharing, and I hope that you can tell by my passion in my voice how much I love this work, and I love to be a person who could just listen. And that's another thing I taught the girls is, you know, how to actually listen. I also had my best friend Susie, who's my partner in the women's retreats. She came and shared about having a safe space, but also just proper listening skills, like how important it is for us to validate each other and speak back what we heard, because I think as parents we want to fix everything. So when our daughter wants to come and share something, like, she's like, well, I don't want to share too much because I already know I'm going to be judged, and she's going to tell me like what I need to do to fix it and solve it. Like, that's not what she needs right now. She doesn't need that. She just wants you to listen to her. So there you go, guys. Listen. Listening is powerful. Listening is healing. Listening is a way to connect with your children. Listening is a way to have humility. So, and don't you worry, guys. I'm speaking to the choir here, because if my girls were to watch this, they're like, yes, Mom, what are you doing? Yeah, I am. I'm a work in progress. We all are. But don't give up. Don't give up on your daughter. Don't give up on your relationship with her. Like, it's possible. It's possible. All right. Thanks for listening. And if you made it through this whole video, I commend you. High five. And go spread love and kindness and open arms and create a safe place for your teen daughter to come and express herself, because she deserves it. and she's loved, and she's valued, and I love her.